The perfect offseason plan does not exist until now. Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. The offseason is officially here for your Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to lay out my 5-step plan for the Kansas City Chiefs of what exactly they need to do to get back to the Super Bowl and bring home another title to Kansas City. We'll go over everything you need to know here in just a bit. Before we do that, folks, we are trying to hit 69,500 subscribers on the channel as we're going to cover the offseason like no one else does here on the Chiefs Report. We're talking everything from the draft, trades, free agency. We bring you sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We have our live shows on Tuesdays. We're doing breaking news. Even if I got to do a video from my couch at home, we'll bring that to you. We have our interactive Q&A mailbags. We just need over 300 subs to reach our next milestone. If you love the Kansas City Chiefs, this is the channel for you. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and we'll get started with today's show. So what exactly do the Kansas City Chiefs need to do to get back on track in this 2025 through 2026 campaign? I'll be honest, it is going to be difficult. There are some tough decisions that Brett Veach and company have to make in the coming weeks ahead. The Chiefs head into the offseason off of a 15-2 campaign, another AFC championship title and Super Bowl appearance as Andy Reid enters his 12th season as the Chiefs head coach. The Chiefs do not have a ton of cap space, as according to overthecap.com, their cap space right now sits at $11.5 million, and draft picks typically average about $10 million total in cap space, so that cap space will go away pretty quickly. But we do have some ideas potentially of how the Chiefs could help out that cap situation. The draft picks for KC, as of right now, and obviously this could change, the Chiefs have 6 picks, as they will be picking at 31 overall, 63, as well as 66, 95, 132, and 256 will be their 6 picks. So what do they need to do to have a perfect offseason? Let's start with 2 of the cornerstones of this Kansas City Chiefs team, that being Trey Smith and Nick Bolton. Both of these guys, the Chiefs have been trying to get a deal done to keep them in town for a long time. We heard Brett Veach talking about all the way prior to this season in training camp. They were hoping to get a deal done. They got a new deal done for Creed Humphrey and Harrison Butker, but they have yet to get a deal done for Trey Smith and Nick Bolton, and both of them are set to hit free agency. Obviously, the franchise tag is a potential option as well if you cannot get a long-term deal done with either one of them. Now, for the crowd out there that says there's just not money out there to pay these two, well, get this, folks. The Chiefs can free up $39 million in cap space simply by restructuring Patrick Mahomes' contract. And that's not even including potential cut candidates that are out there to free up even more money. So if the Chiefs are determined that they want Nick Bolton and Trey Smith, it's going to be expensive. But where there's a Veach, there's a way. And if you look at how valuable these guys are, according to Spotrac, Trey Smith is worth about 4 years, $79 million, give or take. But some people are thinking that Trey Smith is going to become the highest paid offensive guard in football at $22 million plus, potentially speaking. So it won't be cheap to keep Trey Smith. But the results speak for themselves. Trey Smith had the best season of his career in 2024 as he was named an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler for the first time in his career. His offensive grade was fantastic, near 79, pass block grade near 71, and a run block grade close to 80. Trey Smith is just now entering his prime. Nick Bolton, who has been extremely valuable, you could argue the heart and soul of this Chiefs defense, he is projected, according to Spotrac, to be worth about 4 years and $49 million, and he's coming off a very strong campaign himself. And the thing that I liked about Nick Bolton this year, he's been very good the last couple of seasons, But one thing that he took a step forward in doing this year was his ability to create turnovers. That was a big focus for him, was getting interceptions, forcing fumbles, getting fumble recoveries. And he did more of that this year on top of still having 106 tackles, 11 TFLs, and 3 sacks. Nick Bolton was really, really good, and you would love to keep him around. If you could only pick one to re-sign, would you rather keep Trey Smith around or would you rather keep Nick Bolton around? Bolton's going to be cheaper, but you could argue that Trey Smith is more valuable. Which one would you rather have next year in Kansas City if you can only re-sign one? Type TS for Trey Smith. Type NB for Nick Bolton. Weigh in or pin comment today and let us know. Number 2, fixing the left tackle position. In a perfect world, the Chiefs move Joe Thuney back to his natural position of the left guard spot and find somebody else to play the left tackle position. And before we look at some outside options, let's kind of look internally of what the Chiefs have. Now, DJ Humphries has come out and said that he would like the opportunity to come back to Kansas City and be the starting left tackle. I don't really see that happening. Internally, Kingsley basically had a redshirt year of sorts with under 200 snaps this season, and he was not good. Although he had a very good training camp in preseason, the results were not there in the regular season, with a grade below 40, a pass block grade near 31, and a run block grade near 49. The Chiefs, Andy Reid and company, they still feel optimistic that Kingsley could be a good football player in this league. Meanwhile, Wanya Morris, let's talk about him. We saw Wanya Morris a decent amount in the second half of 2024. And Wanya Morris, he was better than Kingsley, but that really wasn't saying much. Wanya Morris had an offensive grade of 53, a pass block grade of 55.4, and a run block grade of 55.2. But ultimately, they ended up bringing in DJ Humphries to take his spot, and then DJ Humphries got banged up, and they turned their attention to Joe Thuney. I would be very surprised if Wanya Morris is that guy for Kansas City there. Some names to watch, according to ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr., of his top draft offensive tackle prospects. Obviously, the Chiefs picking at 31. Some of the bigger names probably not going to be available when the Chiefs pick, like Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks. But some other names include Josh Simmons from Ohio State, Josh Connerly from Oregon, and Anthony Bolton from NC State. Some other guys to watch in free agency include Ronnie Stanley from the Baltimore Ravens. He's a former All-Pro. He's kind of towards the back end of his career at this point. Cam Robinson in Minnesota, Tyron Smith of the New York Jets, Jackson from the Rams, and then Dan Moore Jr. from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that could be an option as well, potentially signed an outside free agent there to be the new left tackle. Who's a player the Chiefs should draft? We're talking plenty of draft here on this perfect offseason. We'll dive more into some draft ideas here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys. Who's a player that comes to mind? Way in the comment section, let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 more players in any given category, get the choice of more or less. Maybe you're talking rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey. Maybe you're like me and you're looking forward to some NASCAR action this weekend with the Daytona 500. And with Prize Picks, they got 2 great things they're offering right now. They will, folks, give you the opportunity to turn $5 into $50. You don't even have to win to get the money. And on top of that, you can win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks right now. All-Star Weekend is almost here, and Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching your favorite players during the game in these Saturday night events like the 3-point contest. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Let me tell you about what I'm looking at on a Prize Picks. I told you I'm excited about Daytona this weekend. The Great American Race, the Daytona 500 from Daytona International Speedway. This Sunday, I got, looking ahead to the NASCAR season, Ty Gibbs to have more than one race win. I think Ty Gibbs gets his first win of his NASCAR Cup career. Tyler Reddick also in a Toyota. Another fellow monster Toyota driver, Tyler Reddick, driving for Michael Jordan's 2311 team. I think he's going to go off. I think he gets more than 3 wins this season. If I put $20 down, both those hit, that turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Appreciate them being here with us on today's program. Number 3, I think the Chiefs need to find some more help at wide receiver and the running back position. And what we've seen from Brett Veach over the years when it comes to the draft is that he tends to use a high pick, first or second round pick, almost every single season on a skill position player to give Patrick Mahomes another weapon of sorts. And let's start with the receiver position. I think there's some names to watch at the receiver spot that, although we've talked a lot about the offensive tackle position, it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs look towards getting another wideout in the first round. You are going to get Rashee Rice back. He could get suspended, though, so you need some potential more help besides just Rice and Xavier Worthy and company. We don't know about if D-Hop or Hollywood Brown are going to be back just yet. I don't expect Travis Hunter or T-Mac to be available, but Luther Burden, he's fantastic down the road just at Mizzou. Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State is another really good receiver. He could have been a first-round pick last year. And Matthew Golden out of the University of Texas, same school as Xavier Worthy, totally different receiver than Xavier Worthy as well. Could be a nice compliment and potential ability to stretch the field as far as that goes. Free agent options, I would be surprised if the Chiefs spent the money for a guy like a T. Higgins or a Chris Godwin, but don't rule out somebody like Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Darius Slayton as free agent options at the wide receiver position. The running backs, I personally would not use a free agent signing on a running back. I would look towards the draft. I think this is an excellent draft class when it comes to running backs here in 2025. Ashton Jeanty was the nation's best running back in college football at Boise State. I expect him to get picked probably in the top 20, so don't think he'll be available. Hampton from North Carolina was solid. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee is good. Allen from Syracuse. Judkins from Ohio State, really good as well. And there's some other names that'll be available later on. I love Cam Scadaboo from Arizona State. He's an aggressive runner. I love me some Devin Neal from the University of Kansas. Not only a good speed back, but he's got good power. He's got good hands. And not to mention, he's a Chiefs fan. He would love to play for his hometown team. And don't sleep on Ollie Gordon either from Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon, fantastic. Didn't have the year he wanted with the Pokes this year, but I think that was more a result of a bad offensive line there at Oklahoma State. But plenty of good running back options. Who's a player the Chiefs should sign this offseason? Who would you like to see join the Chiefs in free agency? We've already heard Brett Veach say they're not going to spend a ton in free agency, but who comes to mind? Weigh in and let us know. Number 4 on the perfect offseason plan for the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs need to identify the long-term replacement for Travis Kelce. Personally, I don't think Travis Kelce is going anywhere. I do think he will be back next season, but we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't admit that his days are numbered and that he has kind of gone downhill compared to what we typically saw from Travis Kelce. He still has been very good, but he's not his old self. Internally, a couple of guys include Noah Gray, who had a breakout season this year with career highs in catches, yards, and touchdowns. He also became the first tight end in the NFL since 2022 to have consecutive receiving touchdown games. It was a very good year for Noah Gray. But as much as I like Noah Gray, I don't know if he can be any more than a number 2 receiver, number 2 tight end. He can be one of the best number 2 tight ends in football, but I don't see him necessarily elevating to be a true replacement for Travis Kelce. Meanwhile, Jared Wiley, we didn't see a ton of this year as he had that season-ending ACL injury. He might be more likely to be that Travis Kelce replacement than Noah Gray. And the comp that Jared Wiley kept getting coming out of TCU was to none other than Travis Kelce. And I'm excited to see what he could potentially do this upcoming season with his talent and his abilities. And assuming he gets healthy, watch out for Jared Wiley there. The top draft prospects, I really like the 2 guys up top. Tyler Warren out of Penn State, I think is phenomenal. Reminds me a lot of Brock Bowers, who had an outstanding season with the Las Vegas Raiders this year. Colston Loveland from Michigan's another really good one. I expect both those guys to be picked in the first round. And then you got a bit of a drop-off. Arroyo from Miami is out there. Mason Taylor from LSU is not bad. Terrence Ferguson from Oregon, not to be confused with the former Oklahoma City Thunder guard. Terrence Ferguson is also an option at the tight end position as well. I could very well see the Chiefs spending a high pick at the tight end spot. We got one more to get to before we wrap up our perfect offseason plan. What is the Chiefs' biggest need that they need to address this offseason? And if you're going to say offensive line, be specific. What on the offensive line is it that needs to be addressed? Let us know in the comments section. Last on our list, getting value defensive pieces. I don't expect the Chiefs to spend high draft picks or a ton of money when it comes to free agents on this defense. And obviously they'd like to keep Justin Reid, but I think Smith and Bolton are higher priorities when it comes to paying guys to keep around. But there are some names of some draft defensive sleepers that catch my attention that should be available when it comes to day 2 and day 3. Jared Ivey, the defensive end from Ole Miss, he's the guy that should get your full attention. Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon. His stock I've seen everywhere, from first round all the way to the 4th round. I have no idea where this guy's going to get picked up. How about Danny Stuntsman from the University of Oklahoma? The all-everything linebacker from OU was terrific the past 2 seasons, and he's an incredible team guy. If you lose Nick Bolton, I think he could be a natural fit potentially to slide into that starting linebacker spot. Kyle Kennard from South Carolina, an outside linebacker to keep an eye on. And how about Kobe Bryant from My Rock Chalk, Kansas Jayhawks? There we go. Had to show off right here. Kobe Bryant, I think, has potential to be a star in this league. And he might not even go to the 4th or 5th round potentially. And I think that he's a starting caliber corner. Watch out for him. Some defensive free agent sleepers that shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg at some different positions. Derek Barnett of the Houston Texans. Milton Williams. He was really good in that Super Bowl. Dominated at the line of scrimmage, that defensive tackle spot. If you can't beat him, join him, right? Drake Greenlaw, that could be a good option at the linebacker spot if you lose Nick Bolton. Corner, watch out for Asante Samuel Jr. And then how about Justin Simmons, the safety from the Atlanta Falcons? He was a guy that was competing for Pro Bowls and somehow was just left on the free agent market almost all of last offseason. I don't expect him to be on that free agent market nearly as long this go-round. Do you believe in Brett Veach? Is he going to get this thing on the right track and get this team back to the Super Bowl? Type B for believe, D for don't. Let us know in the comments section. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. For continuing off-season coverage, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV.